A grandmother's affection met a cold betrayal. Her world was her granddaughter Olivia, but something was not right. A distant scream from a coffin uncovered a secret too vile to conceive. This is the tale of a woman forced to face an unforgivable sin. We lived in a peaceful suburban house. I sat at my table in the kitchen, sunlight streaming through lace curtains. My work-roughened hands held a cup of tea. At 62, I'd experienced loss. My husband dead in an automobile accident when I was 38. Raising my son, Timothy, on my own had been my life's purpose. Now, at 34, he was married to Sarah, and 30 minutes away. Their daughter Olivia was my heart, 3 years old with sparkling eyes and a laugh that brightened my days. But something was wrong. Timothy and Sarah's love for Olivia seemed distant, unfeeling. I suppressed the idea, sipping my tea, but it persisted. I had been delighted all those years ago when Timothy informed me that Sarah was pregnant. I took the garden vegetables and drove to their home, already planning to spread the good news. "It's a girl," Timothy announced, his tone unenthusiastic. "Oh, isn't it wonderful?" I smiled, imagining little frocks. But Timothy sighed again. "I had wished for a boy." Sarah nodded, tightening her face. "A girl will make for cute clothes," I said, attempting to lift their mood. They did not smile, their faces weighed down by disappointment. "It's only a phase," I said to myself. "They'll love her when she's born." Olivia was perfect when she came into the world. Rosy cheeks, a smile that melted my heart. Too precious for words, I'd coo, holding her tight. I went often, bearing toys, snacks, anything to hear her laugh. But Timothy and Sarah's actions ate at me. When Olivia cried, they hardly stirred. "She's okay," Sarah would snap, eyes glinting if I took hold of her. "Don't spoil her, she'll learn to be held." "But she's crying," I'd say, my heart twisting. Timothy's tone was bitter. "She's finicky. Let her sleep alone." Modern parenting. Their frustration shut me down. Perhaps child-raising had altered since my time. I retreated, observing. As Olivia matured, my fears intensified. Her garments always too large or too small, sagging off her dainty frame. She wolfed down my snacks as if she hadn't eaten since dawn. Are they giving her enough food? I wondered, my own stomach nodding. At their home, toys remained untouched. Olivia's room stripped compared to the mess of their own. I attempted to speak with Timothy. "Is everything all right with Olivia? Can assist." "Leave us alone," he bellowed. "Don't interfere with our parenting." When I did speak, he'd manhandle Olivia, twisting her arm, paying no attention to her whimpers. I held my tongue, not wanting to make things worse. When Olivia was about 3, Sarah became pregnant again. They returned home smiling from a checkup while I watched the children. "It's a boy." Timothy smiled. "I'm so excited." Olivia applauded. "I want to meet my brother." "That is just great," I said, happy for them. Perhaps they would finally settle in as a family. But eventually Olivia became sick. Fevers, coughs again and again. Timothy cancelled my visits. "She's not doing well," he'd say. When I volunteered to see how she was, he declined. After weeks of begging, they finally let me come. Olivia seemed fragile, cheeks sunken, eyes dimmed. "Doesn't she require a hospital?" I asked, my voice trembling. Timothy hung his head, covering his face with his hands. "It's safer for her to remain at home," he mumbled, his voice cracking. "What's her diagnosis?" I demanded, fear growing. "It's serious, is it not?" He remained silent. His silence weighed heavily. I visited when they permitted, each time more difficult. Olivia weakened, the fading of her smile. They began restricting visits, citing that they tired her. Then a month later Timothy phoned. Olivia died. My world collapsed. Only 3 years old, so much life still to live. Tears scalded my eyes, choking me with grief. I fretted over Sarah, 8 months pregnant, envisioning her devastation. Inside their home, funeral arrangements were being made. Olivia rested in a little white coffin in the living room. I went in, hoping against hope to view her face one more time. Timothy halted me, his tone crisp. Don't open it. Her treatments were harsh. She's not herself. I stood paralyzed, envisioning her small body racked with disease. It's that bad. I breathed softly, my heart shattering. He nodded, turning his head aside. I wanted to hold her, bid her farewell, but couldn't bear seeing her altered. She'll live on in my heart, I reminded myself, tears streaming down. Is there anything I can do? Yes. We're okay, Timothy replied, his tone dull. I went home, weighed down by grief. The following day, the day of the funeral, I returned. To my surprise, no one else showed up, just me, Timothy, Sarah. Who's arriving? Yes. Nobody, Timothy replied. We prefer it low-key, just family. Sarah's parents are abroad, they can't attend. I nodded, comprehending the suddenness. We'll send her off properly, I thought. Standing at the coffin, I etched memories of Olivia. Her giggle, her small hand in mine. Timothy's phone rang and he took it outside. I stood alone, gazing at the coffin, my chest constricted. Then a whisper. Help me. My heart ceased. The voice was small, weak, and emerged from the coffin. I froze, shaking, my hands trembling as I placed them on the lid. Was I dreaming? I listened more closely. Another weak cry. My fingers fumbled, terror and hope entwining. I opened the lid. Within, Olivia lay, alive, her small body chained in chains. Her eyes, wide with terror, met mine. Grandma, she whispered, shivering. Unforgivable. Anger flooded, pushing aside my shock. How could this be? My granddaughter, alive, in chains, betrayed. I'd get to the bottom of this, and punish them. A faint scream came from the coffin. My own hands shook as I opened the lid. Within, Olivia, my 3-year-old granddaughter, was alive, in chains, her eyes bulging with terror. Grandma, she whispered faintly. Shocked, I stood there, but anger flooded through me. Olivia, what's going on? I stuttered, my head spinning. Timothy and Sarah, my son and daughter-in-law, were the masterminds. Had to move quickly. I pulled Olivia out, her little body shuddering, and stashed her in a closet nearby. Stay here, sweetie, just for a moment, I whispered, my heart racing. Okay, she nodded, grasping my hand. Heels clicked closer. Sarah's going into labor. Timothy charged in, his tone shining with excitement. I'm taking her to the hospital. Go home, Mom. What about Olivia's funeral? Asked, keeping my voice steady. Not important anymore, he said, grabbing Sarah's suitcase. The boy being born, that does matter. His tone was careless, hard, as if Olivia had never existed. I'll remain, keep guard, I volunteered, wanting to remain close to Olivia. Timothy's eyes compressed. Don't open the coffin. It'd disturb Olivia's memory. He stopped, then dashed out. Too late, I seethed. Once their car had disappeared, I sprinted to the closet. Olivia, it's safe, I hugged her closely. I'm so glad you are alive. Her thin arms wrapped around me, her body gaunt. In the following minutes, Olivia's stammering words brought a terrible revelation. Mommy and Daddy bound me up, she told me, her voice trembling. They told me a devil was coming, so I must remain in the box. My heart broke. Timothy and Sarah had faked her death, chained her, abandoned her. Unforgivable. Anger coursed through me. I'd make them pay, but I needed evidence. I'll keep you safe, Olivia, I vowed. We're going to make this right. The following day, Timothy phoned, his tone ecstatic. A healthy baby boy. Congrats, I managed, faking warmth. I'll be by the hospital later. 3 hours later, I entered Sarah's hospital room. Olivia safely ensconced with a friend at my home. Look, Mom, our boy. Timothy smiled, cradling the newborn. Isn't he adorable? Sarah glowed, their happiness in contrast to Olivia's agony. You won't be smiling for long, I thought, my plan taking shape. And what about Olivia's funeral? I asked, observing their faces. Their smiles disappeared. We're occupied with the baby, Timothy replied offhandedly. We'll cremate her, no funeral. We'll let you know when it's ready. Now I thought punishment starts. I gave a signal to my friend standing outside. Olivia came in, her high-pitched voice cheerful. Wow, he's so cute. My little brother, right? Timothy and Sarah stood stock-still, their faces white, eyes flicking from Olivia to me. Olivia. Timothy stuttered. You opened the coffin. I told you not to. His voice became cold. I glared at him. How could you imprison her in a coffin? Horrible. Timothy's bravado wavering. What are you talking about? I told him, my voice firm but intense. I overheard her screams. Her mouth was gagged, but the rag slipped, allowing her to scream for help. Picture her fear, confined in that darkened box, immobilized. Timothy enveloped Olivia hastily. His voice too chipper. You're back. That's wonderful, isn't it, Sarah? Sarah nodded, her smile artificial. Yes, a miracle. Their performance was terrible, believing they could deceive me. Olivia, why did you hide in that box? I asked softly, crouching to her height. Daddy and Mommy bound me securely, she replied, having trouble speaking. They told me a devil was arriving, so I needed to conceal myself. I looked at them, my eyes dagger-sharp. Explain that. Timothy's confidence dissolved. His voice low. She's just a child fantasizing. Sarah nodded hastily. She's 3. Her memory's not trustworthy. I dug into my bag, producing a notebook. What about this? Timothy's face went white. Where'd you find that? I picked it up in your room when you were away, I replied. Should I read it? Fake funeral to fool Mom. If Olivia dies, we'll receive funeral assistance money. Their scheme, scribbled in Timothy's handwriting. That's only notes from a TV show. Timothy snapped, grabbing the notebook. I raised another paper. And this. Olivia's medical report. When I freed her, she winced in agony. I pulled up her shirt. Bruises encased her body. I took her to a hospital. The doctor told me she's been regularly abused, starved, hardly fed. That's why she ate my snacks as if starving herself. Sarah's eyes fell, Timothy's jaw hardened. Why? I demanded. Why do this? Timothy sank into a chair, voice barely above a whisper. We wanted a boy. She was a girl, that's the issue. I stood appalled. Children are gifts. Girls are useless, he muttered, his words cold. My rage boiled over. You neglected her, hurt her, faked her death. All because she wasn't a boy. They looked away, silent. I'd gathered enough. Olivia's words, the notebook, the medical report. They'd face justice, but first, I'd make them feel the weight of their betrayal. I'd protect Olivia no matter what. Timothy's voice spilled out, reckless, as if he'd given up hiding. After we knew our second child was a boy, Olivia was no longer required. We couldn't simply make her disappear. That'd raise suspicion. So we made her sick, made up a story about her dying. He smiled, eerily nonchalant. We began starving her. Thought she'd wither away and pass away on her own. My blood froze, his words a dagger to my soul. Sarah nodded, her eyes vacant of guilt. Gazed, incredulous. You didn't kill her straight out. Don't you deeply love her like that as parents? Timothy and Sarah looked at each other, then laughed, a cold, hard sound. Don't be ridiculous. No such thing, Timothy retorted. If she died, we would have lost child support payments. Our income would have plummeted. Sarah stroked the newborn's head, cooing. Don't. This boy is the one we want to love. My anger surged, vision blurring. Then why lock her in a coffin? I slammed, shaking with rage so I wouldn't hit them. Their faces did not flinch. It had the right atmosphere, Timothy shrugged. Children are erratic. Had to have her under lock and key. Sarah added. Also, you're always in our home, cooing over her. We feared she'd inform you of what we were up to. So you staged her death to keep me off your back. I demanded, trembling with rage. Bingo, Timothy grinned. Now we have our boy. Take Olivia if you wish to. Sarah sneered. We no longer need her. They talked about my granddaughter like garbage. Their smugness intolerable. I grabbed Timothy by the collar, anger shaking me. You want to fight? I won't go easy on you just because you're my mom, he sneered. I let him go, backing away. Sinking to their level would make me no better. So I glared, my voice icy. I'll raise Olivia and your son myself. They exploded. You're crazy. No way, we're giving up our boy. Sarah held the baby, Timothy's face contorting. Time for their reckoning. I've called the police and child protective services, I told them. Be prepared for what they think of abusing parents. Sarah clutched Timothy's arm, shaking him. What do we do? What do we do? Her voice was breaking, terrified. Timothy was immobilized. His bluster abandoned. The police can arrive at any moment, I added, but firmly. Wait. If we lose our son, then what? Timothy stuttered. Not my fault, I said. You did this to yourselves. We'll return Olivia to you better, I promise. Sarah pleaded, her head drooping. Say your report was bad news. Timothy nodded frantically. Pushed them aside. You think I'd take you seriously? They collapsed, saying, what do we do? Their arrogance broken, their conscience shattered. Ours. Police flocked to the hospital. Timothy and Sarah were arrested, white-faced as officers led them away. Olivia and the baby were put into emergency protective custody. I gave evidence to the authorities, handing over the notebook, the report from the doctor, Olivia's testimony. The news broke. Headlines shouting of their brutality, their faces and names splashed across papers and television. Neighbors gossiped, strangers pointed. Even after they were released, they'd bear the shame for all eternity. I adopted Olivia and her brother, naming him Ethan. My house, once peaceful, hummed with activity. Olivia, now secure, assisted with little tasks, her smile back. Ethan, round, bright-eyed baby, gave my days new meaning. Friends sensed the difference. You're younger looking, they said, smiling. Perhaps it's the children, I laughed, not begrudging the compliment. Every morning, I awakened with determination to remain strong, to see them grow. Olivia's giggle rang out as she colored at the kitchen table, Ethan gurgling in her presence. One night, Olivia presented me with a drawing, a big sun above a house, for stick people holding hands. That's you, me, Ethan, and our new home, she said, smiling. I hugged her hard, eyes brimming with tears. You're my treasure, I whispered. Both of you. Months later, the house was a refuge. Olivia began preschool, her teachers delighting in her creativity. Ethan reached milestones, his laughter a daily pleasure. I obtained a lawyer to get permanent custody, so Timothy and Sarah could never harm them again. The trial hung over us, but I concentrated on the kids. Olivia asked about her parents once, her voice small. Will mommy and daddy come back? I knelt, holding her hands. They made bad choices, sweetie. But you're safe with me always. She nodded, hugging me. I love you, Grandma. My heart swelled. Justice had prevailed, not through vengeance, but through love and protection. The children were my purpose, my strength. I'd given them a future, and they'd given me life. Justice for the vulnerable can mend broken hearts and create new beginnings. Hey viewers, what a tremendous story. This granny transformed betrayal into hope, rescuing 2 kids. If this touched you, crush that like button. Comment below. Have you ever battled on behalf of someone's safety and succeeded? Share with friends. They'll be drawn in. Subscribe and tap the bell for more stories of bravery. Join our Patreon to submit your own story ideas. See you next time.